So I was thinking about this in terms of the sex scandals, and I am basically done with the sex scandals, and I will tell you why. I mean, sex is always a very emotional subject. It's always a subject that gets people going because we all have experience with it. We all have experience with doing things we regret. We all have experience with, people in our lives who have been abused and all this stuff. So Franken, Senator Franken, yes, sort of quit. Now, he did this as I was coming in, so I didn't actually see the speech until afterwards. But it turned out that he intended to quit. He says, I intend to resign at a time later on. This was reported as his resigning. But in fact, it's kind of just a ploy at this point. The Roy Moore vote is tomorrow in Alabama. And if Moore loses, will Franken not resign? And then suddenly the press will say, oh, well, that was a little ridiculous anyway. Now, Franken is a dishonest guy. He stole that election, that first election for the Senate. It was like separated by 300 votes, something along those lines. And they found over 1,000 felons who had voted illegally. I mean, that is a really serious thing. Did he grab some girls by the butt? Maybe so, but I don't know. I have no way of knowing. So, and then there's Roy Moore, and I've said this a million times now. I don't like Roy Moore. I don't like the way he uses the Bible to condemn people. I don't like the way he stirs up anger and divisiveness and uses the Bible to bash gay people and all this stuff. It's just not my thing. I think he's, what has he got to do with whether people commit sodomy or not? That's none of his damn business, basically, and he's not something he's going to be dealing with the Senate. So he's just stirring up your emotion. But at the same time, do I know what he did 30 years ago? Do I know? I don't. I have no idea. So here is the reason that that the press talks about sex, because I think about the fact that when Mitt Romney was running, we had stories about him putting a dog on the roof of the car. We had stories about him, bullying somebody in high school, as if you're still the same person that you were in high school. Everything is geared toward getting your emotions inflamed so you're not talking about what? The issues. You're not talking about what these people are doing. Now, why? First, as I said, sex is emotional. We all do it. We all struggle with it. And it makes us say stupid stuff. I mean, here's Gretchen Carlson, who says she was harassed at Fox News. She is a former beauty queen, and I've met her. She's very beautiful, but also very smart. Just listen for a minute to what she says here when she's talking about the partisanship that goes into judging sexual harassment cases.
What I've said from the beginning, since my story broke 17 months ago, is that sexual harassment is apolitical and that it's completely disingenuous to believe some groups of women and not believe others. And that's what we're seeing play out right now. I believe America is in this amazing political divide, unfortunately. And I would just implore all Americans to try and put their politics aside and put human dignity before all of that.
Okay. Now listen to what she said. It's completely disingenuous to believe some women and not others. That doesn't even make any, I mean, this is a smart woman. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Of course, you believe some people and you don't believe others. Some people lie. Some people tell the truth. But the question, again, is, does it matter? And the way they get you to think that it matters is they try to implicate you. They basically tell you that if you vote for this guy, who has done something sexually wrong, who has done something perverse, that you become him. You now are the supporter of pedophiles. Here's David Brooks from Knucklehead Row at the New York Times, a former newspaper. David Brooks trying to pitch this idea that the Republican Party, and this is the idea that they're trying to stir up a moral panic in you about what Roy Moore did 30 years ago. Now, let me stop. Before I go to Brooks, let me just point this out. You don't know. The word that has become abused is credible. Credible. These are credible reports. This woman is credible. You have no idea. Neither do I. When a woman says something happened 30 years ago, you have no idea whether she's telling the truth or not. She may be a good actress. She may be a good liar. She may be telling the dead truth. You don't know. It is a he said, she said situation. You can't judge. And do you judge somebody for what happened 30 years ago? Is it your job to judge somebody? They try to implicate you. And here's David Brooks pulling that trick.
A victory by Roy Moore for the Republican Party is, I guess, the ultimate and a Pyrrhic victory, isn't it? Right. You think there's a long-term disaster?
You get a temporary vote for the Supreme Court justice for a tax cut, but for a generation, you're repulsive. You're repulsive to younger people. 28% of millennials think the Republican Party cares about them. That's just a generational problem. You're repulsive to people of color forever. And so you end up not only making yourself unpopular, but sort of corrupting a piece of yourself.
Yep, see, there it is. There's that argument. But is that true? I mean, for instance, if you hire an illegal alien to mow your lawn, are you participating in the problems at the border, or is that somebody else's job? Is it somebody else's job to make sure our border is secure and your job to get your lawn mown? I mean, you know, obviously you don't want to be a hypocrite. You try to use, I always try to use people who are you know, legal, but I know they hire people who are illegal, so you're implicated because once the rule of law breaks down, you haven't got the power to do this. Is it your job to police what Roy Moore did 30 years ago? Are you participating in his? I'm not sure that that is true, okay? In fact, I'm sure it's not true. I'm sure you are not participating in that. What it means when they attack somebody for sexual ethics is they're saying to you, this person is too corrupt, too perverse to serve in the government. I'm sorry, but for that to be true, the guy has to be doing stuff right now for you to understand this. That something happened 30 years ago that he shouldn't have done. You know, is it telling? Does it say something to you? Yeah, okay, take it into account. But who is responsible for this? There are three ways. There are three ways that these things are handled. One, if you have committed a crime and they can prove it, you should go to prison. If you have raped somebody or assaulted somebody or molested somebody and they can prove it, you should go to prison. Two, if you violate the ethics and the stated rules of your organization, you should be kicked out. So Matt Lauer is fired because of stuff he was doing right now and the fact that he was caught at it and it came out because they all knew he was doing it, but he's fired for that. And the third is, women are responsible for themselves. This idea that you can keep silent for 40 years and then come out with unproved allegations and destroy a man's career, and that makes you a hero and you're the person of the year on Time magazine, I don't think so. You have a responsibility to slap a man in the kisser if he puts his hands on you. You have that responsibility to shout him down in the moment. And I'm not talking about, obviously, I'm not talking about assault. I'm not talking about rape. I'm not talking about anything, any kind of crime. I'm talking about guys like Al Franken who get handsy with you. You got to slap the guy, you know? I mean, if you've lost the fine art of slapping a man in the face, you basically nothing society can do for you being silent.